Hello and welcome. Today we shall be looking at cloud economics. A major factor businesses must take into account is the cost of operation. Good enough, AWS offers its users the opportunity to take control of costs and continuously optimize spending so that they pay for only the resources they actually consume. So it is not always ideal to make use of fixed resources, since sometimes demand could be high and other times it could be low. So there's always that need to uh, maximize resources and also enhance cost efficiency, such that during high demand, one should have enough resources to take care of high demands, and when demand is low, resources can also be scaled down. So today we shall be looking at how to estimate costs for varying EC2 architecture based on peak performance. And AWS offers us a tool with which we could make such estimates, which is the AWS pricing calculator. Today, a startup intends to provision some EC2 resources. So we shall be estimating the cost. So to get started, we'll go to create estimates. So from create estimates, we'll look at, you can see the AWS pricing calculator here. We'll go to my estimates. So now we're going to be adding, okay, first we'll have to create a group. So we'll go to create group. Let's give it a name. We're going to call it web server. So let's call it web server. We create the group. Okay, so created that group. Remember, what we're trying to achieve here is we're going to be provisioning some EC2 instances. So let's try and find this. We'll type EC2. Oh, sorry. Sorry. We'll have to add the service. So add service. Okay. So we successfully created the web server group. Now we can choose our location type here. We'll leave it at region. We can choose a region here. There are options. We can go with the US East, North Virginia, Ohio, and so on and so forth. So let's change it to North Virginia. Okay, so let's find our service EC2. There it is. So this is our EC2 here. We will select configure. Okay, so let's get on with the configuration. Description, let's call it web server estimates. Web server estimates. Okay, so our region is still here. Tenancy, of course, it is shared instances. Look at our operating system. We have options there, but we're going to leave it at Linux. Okay, now the workload. What type of workload are we looking at? Is it going to be of constant usage? Is it going to be of daily spike traffic, weekly spike traffic, or monthly spike? So we're going to be making use of, or we expect our resources to experience daily spike traffic. So we select daily spike. Now the workloads, you see Monday till Friday is highlighted there, but of course the the resources also works on weekends, on Sundays and Saturdays, so we'll select them as well. Okay. Now baseline. What's the minimum number of instances we want for our workloads? We want at least two. So we select two. There should be at least two instances. Then at peak periods, what is the number of instances we also want to have? Of course, the baseline and the peak instance should not be the same. So at peak instance, we want two more servers to be added. So select for duration. How long do we expect the peak hours to last? We can leave it at 8 or 8, okay. We can leave it at just 8 hours. So we leave it at 8 hours. Okay. Now let's look at our instance. What kind of instance are we looking at? Okay. So VPC. We want at least two VPCs. So select two VPC. Memory. Here, let's select like 4 GB and then network performance. We'll leave it at any network. Okay, so we have the option of selecting our instance here. You can see the different options we have. Okay, so let's make use of T3 medium. So we're going to be making use of T3 medium. We'll scroll down, payment options. Okay, so there are different payment options there. Can always review them. We have the compute savings plan, we have the EC2 savings plan, we have on demand, we have spot instances. Of course, these are the various payment options available. We want to be able to pay just as we go, So we're going to make use of the on-demand instance. So on-demand instance allows one to just pay for what one uses. Okay, okay. So one can always also go down and look at other purchasing options. There is a standard reserved instance. There's also the convertible reserved instances. We move on. Let's look at our calculations. View the a complete calculation of our estimated workload hours. Okay, so you can see here from Sunday to Saturday, the baseline is 2 instances. Then at peak periods, 2 more is added, so we have 4 instances. And how many hours does it last? 8 hours. Okay, so we see that on total, we should be having this number of instances. Okay, close it. Let's look at EBS store. Um, we're going to leave this as general purpose. Then the general purpose IOPS. Let's select 30. Go down. Storage amounts. Let's leave it at 10. But let's leave the unit at GB. Move down. Snapshot frequency. How frequently do we need to get our snapshots? We'll make it, let's make it weekly. Okay. Amount of snapshots, amount change per snapshot. Let's leave it at 1 and leave the unit at GB. Okay. We can now look at the data transfer. Okay. For inbound traffic, where do we expect our inbound traffic to come from? On the internet, amount, let's leave it at 1. And then data amounts, terabytes per month. We scroll down to outbound traffic. Internet. So what's the amount here? Mm, let's leave it at 100. And then data amount, this time we'll leave it at GB. Okay, scroll down. So let's look at our calculation again. So we'll review total transfer cost monthly. Okay. So this is for our inbound, then this is for outbound. Okay. So we can now save and add service. Of course, there's always the option to add support. There are different support services AWS offers. You have the basic plan, the developer plan, the business plan, enterprise, and on ramp, and then enterprise support plan with different costs. But as we are working with a startup and intend on cutting costs for now, we shall just leave it at the basic plan, which is free. So I'll say cancel. Okay. So you can see this is our estimates with while provisioning the EC2 instances to run at a base with a base of 2 instances and a peak of 4 instances for each week of the year. By the end of 12 months, this is what the cost we should expect to have. Okay, so we can go ahead and share our estimates. Yeah, we agree. Then we can copy the link. So there is our estimates. Thank you for watching, and see you again.